A 58-year-old woman named Fatima had been eating healthy her whole life. No junk food, no smoking. She exercised regularly. She was the kind of person people looked at and said, "She's going to live to 100. But last year, her doctor gave her news that shattered her family. Stage 2 stomach cancer. And when they sat down to figure out what went wrong, they found something nobody expected. It wasn't what she was eating, it was how she was reheating it. The same foods, the same microwave, every single day for 15 years. And nobody had warned her, not once. If you're watching this right now, I want you to stop and pay attention, because what I'm about to share with you is something most people never find out until it's too late. I'm going to walk you through 4 specific foods that become genuinely dangerous when reheated. Not mildly bad, not slightly unhealthy. Dangerous in ways that researchers have been warning about for years. And by the end of this video, you will understand exactly what happens inside these foods when heat is applied a second time, why your body pays the price, and what you can do instead starting today. Stay until the end, because the first food on this list is the one sitting in almost every refrigerator right now. And it's the one most people would never suspect. I've spent years studying the relationship between everyday food habits and long-term disease patterns. And I can tell you with complete certainty, this is something most people don't realize. We are not just what we eat. We are what we eat, how we store it, and how we heat it. That last part is the one nobody talks about. I've seen this pattern repeatedly in case after case, and it always comes back to the same simple habits that feel harmless in the moment, but compound silently over time. Let's start with food number 4, because I want to build this properly so you understand the full picture by the time we get to number 1. Food number 4 is rice. Plain, simple, everyday rice. The food that billions of people eat every single day. And it is one of the most silently dangerous foods you can reheat if you don't know what you're doing. Here's what most people don't know. When rice is cooked and then left to cool, something happens inside it that has nothing to do with flavor. A specific bacteria called Bacillus cereus, and this is a real, well-documented organism, begins to form spores inside the rice. These spores are not killed by your original cooking. They survive. They wait. And when you reheat the rice, especially in a microwave that heats unevenly, these spores are not eliminated either. They get activated, and the toxins they produce inside your body can cause serious gastrointestinal damage over time. But here's the part that makes it worse. When rice goes through this heating, cooling, reheating cycle repeatedly, the starch structure changes. It creates what scientists call resistant starch compounds that in some people trigger inflammatory responses in the gut lining. Think of it like this. Imagine a river that runs clean every morning. You drink from it, everything is fine. But then you let that same water sit in a warm container overnight, and you don't notice that something has been growing in it. You heat it up just enough to make it feel warm, and then you drink it. You can't see what's in it. You can't taste it. But it's there. That's what's happening with leftover rice. Research published in food safety journals has consistently shown that rice is one of the leading causes of foodborne illness in homes across the world. Not from restaurants, not from street food, but from home kitchens. From people doing exactly what feels normal and safe. The emotional consequence of ignoring this is not a dramatic overnight collapse. It's years of low-grade gut inflammation, weakened immunity, and in the worst cases, a cellular environment in the digestive tract that becomes friendly to abnormal cell growth. The fix is simple. If you cook rice, eat it fresh. If you have leftovers, store them in the refrigerator within 1 hour of cooking and never keep them longer than 24 hours. And if you must reheat, make sure the temperature is high throughout, not just on the outside. But honestly, the safest habit is to cook what you need and not make reheating rice a daily routine. Now let's move to food number 3. And this one is going to make a lot of people uncomfortable because it's something almost everyone does without thinking. Food number 3 is spinach. Or any leafy green vegetable, really, but spinach is the most common example. And the story here is about something called nitrates. Spinach naturally contains nitrates. That's completely normal. In fact, nitrates from fresh vegetables are handled by your body quite well. Your digestive system knows what to do with them. The problem happens when you cook spinach, store it, and then reheat it. During that process, Nitrates are converted by bacteria into something different. They become nitrites. And then, under heat, those nitrites combine with compounds in the food to form a class of chemicals called nitrosamines. The World Health Organization has classified certain nitrosamines as probable human carcinogens. That means cancer-causing. That's not my opinion. That's a formal scientific classification. Think of it like a chain reaction. Normally harmless components sitting next to each other. But add time, bacteria, and heat again, and you've essentially triggered a chemical transformation inside your food that your microwave cannot undo and your body was not designed to handle repeatedly. A 47-year-old man, let's call him Tariq, was proud of his healthy eating. Every Sunday he would prepare a big batch of cooked spinach and greens for the week. Every morning he'd reheat a portion. His doctor eventually noticed elevated markers during a routine check. Nothing dramatic yet, but inflammation patterns that raised concern. When they traced his diet, the reheated greens were flagged immediately. He had been doing this for 7 years, thinking he was being disciplined and healthy. That's what makes this so heartbreaking. The intention was good. The habit was not. The solution here is not to stop eating spinach. Please don't do that. Spinach is extraordinary for your health. The solution is to eat it fresh or cook it and eat it immediately. If you're doing meal prep, keep the spinach raw and cook it fresh each time. It takes 2 minutes. Those 2 minutes matter more than you might think. Food number 2 is something that will surprise you even more. And it connects directly to what I'm going to show you about the final food on this list. Food number 2 is chicken, specifically reheated chicken. And this is a big one because chicken is one of the most popular protein sources in the world. People cook a big batch, refrigerate it, and reheat portions throughout the week. It feels practical. It feels healthy. But the science tells a different story. When chicken is cooked, the protein structures inside the meat change. That's normal. That's what cooking does. But when you cool that chicken and then apply heat again, those protein structures change a second time. And this second change is different. It produces what researchers call protein oxidation byproducts. These are essentially damaged proteins, and when you consume them regularly, your body has to deal with a significant inflammatory load. Chronic inflammation, and I cannot say this enough, is the soil in which cancer grows. It's not the cancer itself, but it creates the conditions that make abnormal cell behavior more likely. There's more. Chicken reheated unevenly in a microwave, which is how most people do it, often contains zones that never reach the temperature needed to kill harmful bacteria. The outside feels hot. The inside is still warm and bacterial. You can't see this. You can't feel it until something goes wrong. Studies in food science have shown that people who regularly consume reheated meat, particularly chicken and red meat, show measurably higher levels of inflammatory markers in blood work compared to those who eat freshly prepared protein sources. This is not a fringe finding. This is consistent across multiple research populations. The emotional weight of this is that people who are genuinely trying to eat well, who are choosing chicken over fast food, who are being disciplined with meal prep, are unknowingly doing something that undermines their health over the long term. It feels so unfair. Because it is unfair that nobody taught us this. If you are someone who relies on batch cooking, here is a better system. Cook your chicken fresh or freeze portions individually and thaw only what you need before cooking again. Reheating from frozen to fully cooked is safer than the cool and reheat cycle. And if you must reheat, use an oven or pan where you can ensure even, thorough heat throughout the whole piece. Not a microwave where parts stay cold. And now, food number 1. This is the one I promised would surprise you. This is the one that connects everything together. And when you understand what's happening here, you will never look at your kitchen routine the same way. Food number 1 is eggs. Specifically hard-boiled or scrambled eggs that have been cooked, refrigerated, and then reheated. On the surface, this sounds almost harmless. Eggs are protein. Protein is good. What could possibly go wrong? Here is what most people never realize. Eggs are one of the most chemically reactive foods in existence. The proteins in eggs, particularly the sulfur-containing proteins, are extraordinarily sensitive to heat exposure. When you cook an egg, you've already applied significant heat. When you reheat it, You push those proteins through a second transformation, and during that second transformation, the sulfur compounds inside the egg react with other elements to form compounds that are not just hard to digest, but genuinely damaging to the lining of the digestive tract when consumed regularly over time. But here's where it gets deeper. Reheating eggs also causes the fats within the yolk to oxidize. Oxidized cholesterol, which is different from regular dietary cholesterol, has been studied extensively in connection with arterial damage, cardiovascular disease, and yes, in concentrated forms, cellular mutations that create conditions favorable to cancer development. Imagine your body as a sophisticated engine. Fresh eggs are premium fuel. Reheated eggs are something that's been partially burned, cooled, and then burned again. The combustion byproducts from that second burn are not the same as the first. They're dirtier, more corrosive, and your engine, your body, was not designed to run on them daily. A researcher at a European Food Safety Institute described it this way in a documented study. The repeated thermal processing of egg proteins creates a cascade of chemical changes that, in isolation, appear minor. But in the context of a lifetime of daily exposure, they represent a meaningful and cumulative risk to digestive and cellular health. That phrase, cumulative risk, is the key. This is not about eating one reheated egg and getting cancer. This is about what daily, repeated exposure does to your biology over 10, 15, 20 years. Here is what I want you to truly understand. And this is the part most people never realize, even if they've heard bits of this before. It's not just that each of these foods is risky in isolation. It's that many people are doing all four of these things together, every single day, as part of what they believe is a healthy routine. Reheated rice with reheated spinach and reheated chicken with a side of reheated scrambled eggs. Every single component in that meal is contributing to an inflammatory and chemically compromised internal environment, and the combined effect is not additive. It is multiplicative. The whole is more dangerous than the sum of its parts. Think about Fatima again. She wasn't eating junk food. She was eating what most people would consider a healthy diet. But she was reheating it. Every day. For 15 years. And the cells in her stomach were living in a constant low-grade chemical storm that eventually produced results she never saw coming. This is what I mean when I say, the hidden truth about food is not just what you eat, it's what you do to it before it reaches your mouth. Now here is the part I want to leave you with, because this is not meant to scare you into paralysis. You are not powerless. You never were. The habits that create these risks are also the habits that are easiest to change because they are simple, daily, and entirely within your control. Cook rice fresh when possible, and store and reheat it properly when you can't. Eat your leafy greens raw or freshly cooked, never reheated. Cook your chicken fresh or freeze and recook from raw rather than reheating cooked portions. And cook your eggs to order, fresh every single time. It takes minutes. Those minutes are an investment in decades of cellular health. Small changes matter, not someday, today. Because your body is not keeping score of one bad meal. It's keeping score of your daily patterns. And the moment you shift those patterns, even slightly, you begin shifting the environment inside your body. You begin reducing that inflammatory load. You begin giving your cells a cleaner, calmer place to do their work. If this video made you think about your own kitchen habits, I want to hear from you right now in the comments. Tell me, which of these 4 foods do you reheat the most? Have you been doing this without realizing the risk? Your answer might help someone else who reads it. And if you have someone in your life who reheats rice or eggs every morning without knowing any of this, share this video with them today. Not because you want to worry them, but because you care about them. That's what this is really about. If you want to keep learning how to protect your health through the small invisible choices you make every single day, make sure you're subscribed. There is so much more that nobody is telling you, and I intend to change that.